We are nothing sacred. We are nothing sacred. We are nothing sacred. With Maxwell Silverhammer. We are nothing sacred. With cruise control. We are nothing sacred.
Oh, yes, bitches. Welcome to the Nothing Sacred interview with BigHerc916. I'm Maxwell Silverhammer.
And I am Cruise Control. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, man. Our little corner of the internet. You got a nice channel going there, and appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us tonight.
Yeah, man. I Max touched base with me a while back, and I got so much going on. I kind of spaced it out, man. But I'm glad to have the opportunity.
Oh,
absolutely.
Thank you, man. You got a very big channel, actually. How many subscribers do you have now?
We have 500,000, but we would probably be at more than that. Half the people have been unsubscribed multiple times because of just, I guess, what we're putting out there as far as our narrative.
Okay. So
okay. Let's talk about that a little bit,
Let's
man.
talk about that. First of all, yeah. So basically, you got Big Herc got a YouTube
Fresh
channel
Out
called Fresh
series.
Out series, and tons of different podcasts and not podcasts, but streams and with different people interviewing. Like your latest one was a gentleman who had some issues with had experience with a guard who helped him out there, and just various different things going from through your channel. So why don't you go ahead and explain how you got that started, where it came about, and how you got to where you are right now?
Well, the channel Fresh Out started. It was a concept in prison when I was doing time in the feds for bank robbery. I used to, think about different ideas I could do when I got out, because I didn't want to be an employee, and I knew I wanted to have my own production company. And I used to see guys when I would come from like the library from studying, they would be fixed on watching cops in prison, and I'm like, how can guys that are locked up watch cops? I don't get it, man. It's just like, it's crazy, the mentality of these people in here who are supposed to be super gangsters. Mm-hmm. So my thing was, I see a lot of these guys, and they, people talk high-powered stuff in prison. I want to show, well, what happens to a guy when he gets out of prison? But I want to show more or less the guy who's been able to change his life around and make something positive from it, because there's so much negative depiction. I mean, shows like Cops and Lockup, it gives fuel to the fire for the funding of all these private prisons.
Yes.
And, to get tough on crime stuff, which perpetuates our prison industrial complex. My thing is, I'm showing that if you were to educate or even provide programs for a lot of people, you can change the scope of the economy along with the demographics of people who are presently incarcerated. Mm-hmm. And so, it's a lot of things I push on my channel that doesn't go along with the mainstream narrative, as far as just the positivity, the fact that I always speak on, these hip hop artists being commercials for prison, promotion crime. These kids, they see a guy with a pistol with a gold chain. The first thing they do when they get old enough is try to go get him a pistol. So, I'd say a lot of things that it doesn't flow with Hollywood's exploitation of that group of people. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of that affects my channel, and I don't, I'm not doing the song and dance like a lot of guys. I really try to give back based on the mistakes I've made and the consciousness I have. It's almost like I have a duty, because I have this higher knowledge of the system and the psychological behind it, for me to educate and share my story with as many people as possible, and to help other people share their story so that we can make a difference.
Man, yeah, you do lace a lot of people with game, as far as the ones that are headed towards the system, those that are in it, and then those that are leaving, obviously, how to continue on the outside, man. Because your whole thing is, hey, you don't want to be institutionalized. You want to be free. You know what I mean?
And also, a lot of kids who have grown up watching my show, because I've been doing it since 2013, they said, man, watching your show, man, I went into the military. I got a job, man. I stopped hustling. lot of kids who have watched it where parents couldn't reach them, and who, should I go to college or should I took a trade? Should I do this or should I do that? So I put a lot of things out there because I've been exposed to a lot. I've been around the dirtiest of the dirt, crack houses, people smoking dope, meth and all that. Then I've been around people with yachts in their backyards. I've been on a private jet. I mean, I've been around big money, and I've seen, how things are different economically in two different environments. And having exposure, having somebody tell you you can do something or you're capable, you have the potential, is a game changer. Nobody wants to be in a crack house. No kid wants to really embrace that life. And if they say they do and these dudes brag, they're lying. I've been around the guys, the killers in there, and they want to go home. They know they fucked up. They're like, man, this Herc, man, you only got 10 years, bro, man. You got another chance, man, blah, blah, blah. These dudes are doing 100 years, 2 lives, life plus 100, 5 lives in 100 years. You're like, God damn, what'd you do, man? And, those people are not running around prison high-fiving, singing Rick Ross songs. And, if they are, they're pretending. But in the back of I've seen them when they get a little alcohol pruno in them and they get around, man, they're depressed, they're scared, they're dying souls, bro. They're dying souls. And for people to be tricked into that, for you to go murk somebody because you want a name or you can't fight or you think you're a jack boy, and you get up in there and you realize that now you got to do 20, 30 years and you're not going to come out till you're 50-something, 60. Dude, that's a cold reality.
Yeah, it hits you it doesn't hit you beforehand. It always hits you after the fact, after too late to do anything about it.
Years, you're 21, 22, you're running around the yard still, putting in work, carrying shanks, and 26, 27, you a G, you hit your 30s, and you've been down like maybe 10 years, you start slowing up. You start feeling it. The top ramen starts kicking in. The fucking beef sausages, those fucking old cans of tuna, the yard, the wars, the politics. You hit 35, 36, 40. You start hating life, bro. You wish you start thinking about things and how old your kids are now. Your baby, your old baby mom, she got a new dude who's busting her cheeks. Your mom is. She can't make it out there no more. Your grandma passed away. Yeah. Your brother, he got shot. All type of shit starts popping up, man. You're a forgotten memory.
Yeah, not only that, and just with the way the world works now. Even someone like yourself, you said you were in there for 10 years.
8 years, 8 months, no visit.
I bet going in there, you came out. The world was between 2000 and 2015. The world has fucking changed just extraordinarily in so many different ways.
Well,
with social
I went in
media.
2000. I got out 2008, but see, the thing about me, I never bought into the mentality. See, prison is a mental first and foremost. You could be in prison and not be in prison. You're still in prison because of what you have to deal with. But I never walked around there and like these dudes. I'm an inmate. I'm an ex-con. You know what, man? I said, you know what? I'm passing through. I would have a book bag. When I didn't have my book bag, I was working out. That's all I did. I worked out, I studied, and I read. I worked on my mental, my spiritual, and basically I kept myself on point. And that's what allowed me, when I got out, my transition was easy. I seen guys in the halfway house, these dudes, they didn't know what the fuck was going on. They were walking around with fucking wave caps still on the street, fucking prison sweats, going to the what do you call it? The employment social center, trying to get a job. Dude, I was ready. I was like, man, I'm back in LA. I'm grinding.
They're still holding beepers and shit.
Yeah, let me check my pager.
Pagers and shit.
I was, I didn't allow the system to institutionalize me. Therefore, my transition was a lot easier, and that's why a lot of people go back, is because they have been conditioned to take prison as a reality.
It's like anything else, which is scary. Like when you can get comfortable with being imprisoned or being in any kind of environment. It doesn't matter how fucked up the environment is. If you feel more comfortable there than you do, because I bet a lot of people get out and they're like, man, I wish I could go back in there because I know what to expect every day.
Well, you saw Shawshank Redemption.
If you're a shot caller, you're one of these dudes. You say you were calling shots, right? You were calling shots. The shot caller, man. I could take you down to Los Angeles and fucking 7th Street and show you some shot callers, crackheads, motherfuckers who shooting heroin because they don't give a fuck. Prison, They prison. They feel like they are somebody. They got free bed. They got free laundry. They fucking got clean clothes. These fuckers cannot hold a job on the street. Mm-hmm. They're bums. They're bums, bro. Most of those dudes are chasing the high. Everything that happens in there, all the beefs, all this is over drugs. And most of those guys are getting high. They're nobody to be looked up to, man. The real G's are quiet. They're studying. They got people handling real estate moves, business moves on the street. They don't give a fuck about running a prison. They don't give a fuck about polishing their fucking floor, the sink, and acting like you got, creased khakis. There ain't no bitches in there. Mm-hmm. Don't nobody give a fuck about that. But that's what they value. Those are the losers, bro. Mm-hmm. That's what I realized. These dudes mentally are already losers.
You had an interview with the guard from the Cook County jail, and you were talking about that with the shot callers, that, it's not this big guy that you think, who sits back and he's eating steak and all this. Like, this dude's, like you just said, a crackhead, man, in a lot of cases.
Most likely, most of the guys, I'll tell you right now, the drug of choice in prison is heroin. A lot of those dudes are on heroin behind closed doors because they're doing life, bro. They're never coming home. How do you think they cope with that? They don't have Xanax. They don't have oxys, so they can get a little heroin. They can forget, and they can deal with the fact that they got another man telling them when to stand up, when they can shit, when they can shower, when they can eat. Once that really sets in, it ain't like those dudes. It's like they're trying to cope with the environment. Mm-hmm. So that's what you're dealing with. But the shot caller, I see one of the dudes, little dude. You would, man, probably 5'4", 5'5", glasses, hella little, fucking military minded motherfucking, no joke. He hit the yard. They try to put a move down, man. He orchestrated some shit, man. They ain't never seen nothing like that on the yard. So it's little dudes.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's crazy. Hey, can we talk about, me, always have to ask the difficult questions. Can we talk about the bank robbery?
Yeah, I mean, it's the mind state I was in at the time. It was it was go get it. I had the mindset. I had, if it was something that was testing my gangsterism, I was all for it. So it could have been a bank, it could have been a trap house, it could have been a weed dealer. I was gonna go get them, and that was my mentality. But I had built up to that, man. So, the bank robbery was just the back end of all the karma from the other shit I did.
That's crazy. I mean, just to be able to, I don't think you just wake up and go, yeah, man, let's go rob the bank. This is like, take some planning and a bunch of shit.
You do other gangster shit leading up to that. That's why I said a lot of these dudes, I mean, I'm not trying to prove nothing. And at one point, when I was young, I wanted to be a gangster. I'm thinking, oh, man, if I have my own mob or my own team. And I realized, man, motherfuckers turn on you. It's bullshit. It ain't, I've been better off taking the corporate route. Being a gangster in a corporate boardroom, and right. When you're around certain things and you gravitate towards them, but like you said, you build up momentum to that. So as I built up the momentum to execute that particular act, when I got to prison, I had to build reverse momentum to undo all that I had been taught that led to me making those bad choices. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't know how to do that.
Well, a lot of people don't have the self-awareness to go, wow, I'm in a situation where I can't control myself. Like, they'll try to find control because they get in that environment. That's why they want to go back there, or maybe they, or a sense of power, like you said, like, and you were just like, the only power I'm going to get is to get the fuck out of here and actually be ready when I can get out, pretty much.
Yeah, and when you see guys and they come back, oh man, they're tripping out there, blah blah blah. They're blaming the man. No, dude, you wanted to get caught. You did something purposely to escape. It's almost like how a person can mentally wish themselves into having a cancer or a heart condition because they're so depressed and they don't want to deal with the world, but they don't want to put a gun to their head. So what they do is, man, if I get sick, if I was this and that, and pretty soon your body finds a way to your energy level to lower yourself to some type of ailment, which will give you an exit. Mm-hmm. People don't realize that you're creating that because your soul, you can create whatever you want as far as in a spiritual sense. Because you're spiritual, there's no limitation as far as the energy you generate. But everybody's so caught up in the material, and that's what happens. So you basically told your soul to check you out. You check out. If you want to live life with a vibrance, with a passion, now there's things that happen out of the ordinary. You think, wow, man, why that happened to that good person? But for the most part, when you see people who are really tuned in, dude, you can create a whole nother reality. And I had no idea how to do that when I was 24, 25, 22, 23. I had no idea.
Most people don't.
I don't think anyone does.
A few people do, but most people don't have a clue what the hell they're doing. Well, at least I know I didn't.
It's almost like these, the protesters you see, the Black Lives Matter guys, the Antifa guys, they're walking down this is some shit they're not used to. They're walking into a lion's den here.
Those people, bro, they're such a low vibrating group of individuals, man. It's sad, that they're even getting that much attention. I mean, whether it's Antifa or Black Lives Matter or the Proud Boys, beating up everybody, dude. It's those are all basically manipulated players in the chess game for a bigger agenda, and they don't even know it. They think they're out there doing something, getting her flown around the country, dude. They're all pawns.
Yep.
They're all people. I have my theory is this: that they don't have any purpose. They don't have purpose for themselves or their life.
No.
So what they do is they latch on to these to make it seem like they have some kind of greater purpose when other people have, like religion or just spirituality or just a general purpose of a self-improvement. While these people are like, you know what? I don't have any of that. Oh, I can just run out and run in the street with a mask on and I'm doing stuff. And then when they're not doing shit except fulfilling someone else's agenda.
Yep.
It's almost like, when you look at the definitions and how people define themselves. And I remember talking with a guy who was pretty spiritually inclined. And he's like, dude, you know why a lot of people right now are suffering? He says, because they've actually turned against God. And I said, like, what are you talking? He's like, you turned against self. You got somebody saying Black Lives Matter, right? But when you look at what they define, it has nothing to do with Black Lives. But the title is deceptive. And it's deceptive. You start looking at the Latin of a lot of these words and then what these people are really behind, and you start realizing that you got behind a vehicle that's not even what you thought it was. Once you get in and it goes under the car wash, it's a whole nother car. You thought you had an Audi R8, then you got a goddamn Prius, and that's what happened. These people, they're getting, and then they start researching and looking like, God, these people don't even want me to be successful. They're not even, I'm just a conduit for them to put a false message out. And that's what they're doing. They've been doing this from the beginning of time. You remember when they used to have protesters back, even when they had the tax rallies back when we were trying to get the redcoats out of here, the Boston, it was a lot of stuff. Yeah. People don't know history. So they just, like you said, these kids never had a purpose, been playing Fortnite their whole life or League of Legends, and they get GTA and they get up, man, I'm gonna go out here, I'm gonna be somebody. You get out your house, you owe me, dude. What are you? You don't. Nobody owes you shit, and that's the problem.
Yep, everyone thinks they owe it. It's a victim mentality because as we always say, because victimhood now is a sign of moral superiority. And power. It's a power play. Victimhood is, oh well, I'm a victim in this. Because
you owe me.
Exactly.
You owe me.
And we face this a lot too, as Max and I both, because of I'm visually impaired and he's blind. So we get this whole idea about this whole in the disabled culture. There is a massive amount of people who have that attitude that I'm a victim and you owe me because I was born this way and I have a disability and blah 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 blah. And it's like, man, get your hell. You're just a human being with a weakness, and you're using that weakness to get yourself shit instead of actually just showing it as a weakness as just a weakness. It's just a weakness, just another weakness.
It's crazy that, and I commend you for actually flipping the script on that, because it's in a sense the same way where a lot of black guys don't like me, man, because I don't claim to be the victim. I say, look, dude, I did a decade between juvenile hall, California Youth Authority, federal prison. What's your excuse? You've never been locked up. You don't have a single felony. Who are you blaming?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know what I mean?
Well, and what is this whole thing? Where is this? you know, where you have this duty to come back and help your people bullshit. You know, like you always hear this too, you know, as blind people, well, you should help some of your blind friends get jobs. You should, you know.
You got to want to help yourself. What I realized is that if you help, this is what somebody told me. Somebody said, hey, man, those are your people over there. I said, what do you mean? Oh, that dude's from Sacramento. I said, dude, that's not my people. Just because he's black, dude, he's from Sacramento, he might be a cold piece of shit. My people are people who have like-minded interests, goals, and are driven like me. So my friends in prison was a white guy. I had a Korean guy. I had a mixed race guy. I had this other guy, white guy. I had, you know, my friend who was German and Hawaiian. Those are my friends. Not just because me and you, man, you might be the biggest backstabber out of all. So, you know, that's another misconception, and they trick people with that. And a lot of people get caught up, and then they turn around and get burnt by their own people. I mean, most of the civil rights leaders who were out here during the 60s and you know, early 70s were all murdered by people who claimed to be their people.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that some shit?
Yeah. Speaking of like taking responsibility for yourself, so just a little bit more about where you your journey took you to get, you know, the YouTube channel and the success you've had. So you got out in 2008. And you said you were prepared to, at that point, but then you said you didn't start the actual Fresh Out until 2013. So when you got out, how did you deal with that, and how did that lead you to start that YouTube channel and get that going?
Well, when I first got out, I was just kind of like trying to find my way, man. I was like, you know, the BlackBerry with the ball was the phone, and then, you know, I didn't even know what the hell Bluetooth. I seen like people were talking on the talk. I thought people were going crazy, so I was like, what the fuck, you know?
Yeah.
And you know, the MySpace was big. YouTube had just started, but I knew nothing about that. So I was on survival mode. So, you know, literally, I was staying with somebody through a friend that I met in prison, that he kind of vouched for me, and I stayed there until I saved up enough money and I could rent a room. But in between that, I was like, you know, I was personal training. I was, you know, being a salesman. I was, you know, I saved up enough money and I started buying cars off of Craigslist and selling them. And I just kind of just hustled, man. And I didn't meet my partner. I met my business partner in around 2009, but I didn't really, you know, have the timing to actually come out the show until 2013. And I was like, dude, you know, I had a neighbor who was I seen him. He used to always have a camera. And I told him, I said, dude, we should come out. I have a show idea. And I told him, he's like, dude, that's dope. Let's do it. And we finally did it. And so it was timing, you know, because I actually had shot a sizzle for Fresh Out before I met him. And I had shot it like on an old school camcorder. And I showed somebody that, you know, a friend of mine introduced me to. And they're like, you know. And so I didn't get no traction with it. So I kind of put it on the back burner. But then as I started, you know, as I went forward, things kind of came into alignment, and I brought that up, rehashed it, and it was just timing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. And it all came together for you. And obviously you started selling a bunch of products too. Like you have Yard Time, which, what is that exactly? An energy drink or?
Yard Time's a pre-workout. So my business partner, he's by trade, he's like a chemist, and he's, you know, a certified trainer. So he has a lot of knowledge in nutrition and just doing recipes for different types of supplements. So he came up with Yard Time as a pre-workout, and then also Man in the Can as far as protein and a booster. So we tried to capitalize on our platform and just build our brand, and we gradually have added other products to our brand, along with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, and beanies.
Yeah. So what is if you could summarize the mission statement or the idea behind the YouTube channel in just like a sentence, like what would you say the whole idea and purpose behind Fresh Out was to begin with, and has it kept that? In other words, has it kept the same focus, or has it evolved?
Yeah, it's basically the focus has always been to bring awareness and elevate consciousness in regards to prison and actual prison reform, you know, and prevention. So, you know, first and foremost, not all people who go to prison are pieces of shit. And second, you know, you look, man, you don't have to go to prison to be somebody. You can make, you know, wise choices before and not have to become somebody by saying that you're you're an OG or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm. So you have people that are obviously, because when you get out and you're confused, so you kind of like help people who have gotten out a little bit as well to kind of adjust, or give them, or just kind of like know that they're not, they have people that they can relate to, because that seems like an amazing thing about the social media is that they didn't have this kind of stuff 20 years ago.
No, well, what we predominantly do, like a lot of people reach out, like family members of different people or girlfriends or husbands. They'll say, hey, my boyfriend's getting out or my brother's getting out, and could he be a great interview for your show? And so I actually give them an opportunity to tell their story, as long as they're not a chomo, and as long as they're not a snitch. We don't want to give those people any platforms, but I try to give people who have a positive story, somebody who's doing well for themselves, an opportunity to come on our show and share to inspire others and change lives, because the universe speaks to everybody through just through energy. And so if I can get somebody on here, if I couldn't reach them, maybe they'll hear a story from somebody else, and then it'll resonate with them, and it'll create change.
Do you ever get anybody? I'm not sure how much access people have to the internet inside, but do you have any information about people that actually are watching while they're still incarcerated, or is it mainly just people that are?
We do live streams, so I'm quite sure a handful of guys have been able to see our shows with a smartphone. I know dudes. There's been prison officials who have emailed us who said that they stream our show on pre-release classes for some of the prisons.
Oh, wow, that's
there's
awesome.
been people who I've seen where our shows have been streamed in schools in Australia. I just talked this morning to a law class in DC. So our reach is just it's pretty wide, pretty vast. And like I said, one of the things that we were criticized for when we did try to actually push the show to go mainstream was that they said that we were glorifying prison. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And the guy in particular said, well, man, you got to throw some guys in there, who are on the verge of going back or committing crimes, because everybody in your show is successful. The one guy, he's a very big YouTuber. The other guy has his own gym. The other guy works for Department of Water and Power. I said, well, that's our point, is to show that you can change your life around, and you don't have to be that guy who's always going back and forth to prison. And we don't want to depict that, because that's a program. Yeah. We're deleting the program. And so our show didn't get picked up because of that. And that's what they want. They want to show young black men, gold chains, everything about it. You ever seen there's not one rap video that doesn't show a young black guy with a pistol and a gold chain.
Yeah, that's true.
Everyone, I'm telling you, every dude, big rapper, first thing you give him a gold chain on credit, then give him a pistol, and then give him a platform with a nice car, Rolls Royce, Lamborghini. So all the little young black males that see that will think that that's a status symbol. Mm-hmm. And what that does is give you your first felony, unregistered firearm, and then most likely you're going to get caught in the process with some type of narcotics.
So it's pushing the agenda. Your show wasn't helping to push the agenda.
No,
so
bro. And that's one of the things I realized. And I'm like, dude, if I was playing their game and I was really putting that image out, we would be at probably 2-3 million subscribers, man.
Mm-hmm. Well, they also probably want to show those people that are going back in, because like you said before, a lot of people don't realize how corporate the prison system actually is, and that they actually want to, because it's for a lot of it, they're businesses, which is fucking insane if you think about it. They're actually, the whole point of them is they're making money off prisons. So why would they not want to continue to keep that going? Just like any corporation.
But what they tell the public is, prison reform. We want to help you guys. We want you guys to do good. We want to show that we can reduce recidivism. And on the back end, you have lobbyists for these private prisons, for like Unicor and Wackenhut and all these places who got these contracts to do all this slave labor shit in there, and they need that. And then on top of it, you got to one of the biggest lobbyists against certain prison programs that would help lower violence and reduce recidivism is the National Prison Guards Association. They need job security.
Yep.
Yeah.
And those
It's like saying McDonald's, McDonald's is not going to get you to stop eating McDonald's.
Exactly, or
Sure.
Facebook or Twitter.
man.
They're going, oh well, what Twitter is actually psychologically addictive and promotes a lack of mental health, because it does. Massive amounts of studies about social media have shown how mentally, how damaging they can be mentally and how addictive they are. It's like, oh well, we'll work on it. No, they're not. Your whole existence is you're a corporation. All you're there for is to make money. So whatever you're doing, whatever corporation is doing, that's all they're there for. McDonald's is not about to make. McDonald's is about making food for the family so that they have a quick. No, they're about making money. They don't give a shit. And so the prisons are going to be the same fucking way. They're going to be the same way. They're going to promote ways to keep themselves viable and keep them going and expand. Not only just to go, but to expand. Because that's another corporation thing.
And what's the biggest way to do that is you got to have a commercial. Commercial is the hip hop industry, man.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. It makes it look appetizing.
Exactly. I mean, when you got guys, you got a good beat, and you keep hearing about RICO, conspiracy, drug, dude. It's like you're setting yourself up for a 20-year bid. You're going to jail for 20 years, bro. Mm-hmm. You're going to be in there, and there's nothing glamorous about that. So if you imagine if they rapped about, Ivy League, going to Harvard, I went to Yale, got a degree. Now I'm not in jail. I'm helping people, bring my community up. Blah blah blah. Dude, you could do the same dope ass lyrics talking about going to college, learning a trade, making 6 figures a year, supporting your family, and still get a good message. But that doesn't push anything. That's contrary.
Not only that, but it's not hard. It's like that whole idea.
No, you're not gangster. You're not keeping it real because you don't have a pistol when you're talking about going to fucking Stanford.
Yeah, I always thought that was like an over exaggeration or like a stereotype that in inner cities and this is not racial at all, because people forget that there's a shit ton of poor white people that are also getting this idea about toughness and stuff like that. I mean, you've heard of. I've seen a lot of people like that, but you never see that. Like, I always thought it was an exaggeration that they go, "Oh, you're reading a book. Oh, you're fucking studying. Oh, that's bullshit." But that really isn't. That really happens. Like, that really is that peer pressure to not actually do that.
Dude, a guy told me. He said, "Big Hurt." He said, "When I was in jail, dudes literally were gonna want to fight you or stab you if they seen you going to class getting your GED."
Isn't that crazy? Just to push you down the ladder.
Because you decided not to hang out on the yard. Not to run around talking shit. Mm-hmm. You want to study and hey man, you think you're better than me? You think you're all that, motherfucker? You ain't no better. You in here like me too. You ain't nobody. Mm-hmm. If you was like that, you wouldn't be in here, dude. That's what they do.
Yes, wow. Yeah, because it's a fear of themselves that they feel inferior.
Yeah,
it's the same thing with alcoholics. Like, you get around people that drink all the time, and someone decides to stop drinking. Like, oh man, what the hell's your problem? Why aren't you drinking? Because they want you down on their level. Yeah.
You think you're better? You think I can't control my alcohol? Man, I didn't say nothing. Yeah, you did. Look at the way you looked at me. Okay.
Right. Exactly.
Right. Yeah, that's how it is, man. That just they want to bring you to their level. That if you're doing something better than they are, they're going to find a way to drag you down. And that's the other thing too. I think we're the only culture or the only country that sort of puts people down for wanting to be intelligent.
It's only in certain circles because, like, I mean, you're chastised in certain communities, like you said, for keeping it real. You're not 100. Mm-hmm. You're not gangster. You're not. I mean, dude, what does that mean? What does it mean? Do you have to? I got to keep it real, keep it 100 with you. For what? For you? Motherfucker, you don't even have past the 10th grade education. Why would I listen to you? But that's what they do. So if you're considered a nerd or a square, that's like derogatory when actually those people are winning. Those people are staying out of jail. Those people are the ones taking care of their kids and their family. They have a dad and a mom in the household. Mm-hmm. And that's another thing is because by doing that and getting these people caught up early, most of these dudes already have a girl pregnant by the time they're 15, 16. So by the time they hit the prison at 20 and their kids already seeing the cycle. So he's on the verge of doing the same repetitive cycle as his father. And it's already been said that, without having a father in the household, it increases your chances of going to prison by 70%.
It increases everything. Are you? Well, I mean, you're not actually implying that a single mother can't raise a kid as well as a 2-person family, are you? Come on,
no,
now.
God forbid. God forbid.
God forbid. No. Strong.
Here's what I think. This is my personal thought on this. Is that I'm sorry, but boys need their dad just like girls need their mom.
They both need. Girls need their dad too, or else you get WAP. That's what you get. If
one
you
of the crazy things is they're trying to make it seem like you can have 2 women or 2 dads and it's the same. No, just like you got to have a man and a woman, a child needs both because the women is soft, caring, emotional. The dad is stern, strong, protective. You got to have a balance.
Yeah, and that
you can't have 2 and 2.
Yeah, or if you have 2 and 2, then that other person has to have that role. Has to be that disciplinary role.
Yes, you got to have both, but you don't tell people that, oh, man, we don't need you in the house. Mm-mm. No, man, don't tell the kid that. You do need that, man. You do need to have that balance, man. And the thing is, these kids are so confused now. It'd be different if they waited till after they got out of school. But at a young age, I mean, dude, how crazy. You got a guy coming in and dressed in a wig, looking like something from Land of the Lost, telling the kid a story, and it's a dude. I mean, why would you confuse a kid like that, man?
It's crazy.
Well,
man.
they got something out here at the library, or they did prior to COVID. It was Drag Story Hour.
Yeah, man, they got it out here too, man.
Yeah, man, it's crazy.
I would never let my kid. I don't have nothing against people who choose to have their own sexual orientation, but as a child, dude, there's enough confusion. You do not need to do that, man. You should not force a kid or put him in a predicament. And then the kid gets older and is like, what's wrong with me? I didn't really like that. Why'd I do that? Now he's a drug addict. Now he's suicidal. Now he's all fucked up.
Well, it goes back to, like I said before, like not having a purpose. So instead of having a purpose, they can be, I'm non-binary, which is complete horseshit. It's basically a way to be special without actually doing anything. Like, you don't do shit, you're I'm a special, amazing person, because what have you done? Well, I'm trans, okay? Or I'm this, or I'm that. So back to that whole identity thing again. It's like, just notice me because I'm different. Like, I am not, I transcend.
And people are trying so hard to use that as their I don't know, as their leverage, against society. And then if you don't like that, you're wrong. So you're saying, I'm not saying that I don't like it, but so if I'm pro this, I mean, I hate you? No, it just means I'm pro this.
Yeah, it doesn't have because everyone's a phobia, everyone's afraid, which is bullshit as well. Because that's like, you're afraid of me. No, I just don't. I don't care. Most people, just don't give a shit what you do. And that bugs the shit of these people because they want you to fucking give a shit about what they're doing. And it goes with everything. All these different groups. They want you to give a shit and not just say, well, I don't give a shit what you do in the bedroom. They want you to go, wow, you do that. That's amazing. And
too, you can't even really have intelligent conversation like how we're talking. You cannot have that with a lot of these people because they start raising their voice. They start getting stupid. I mean, you've seen numerous, people when they try to talk to some of these guys who say they represent, whether it's Antifa or BLM, dude, they can't talk without having intelligent. And then when you start bringing up certain things, they just explode. And want to get violent. Why are you so upset?
Because then the threats come out. Everything.
Everyone's in their own echo chambers with the social media, which is awesome, and that's probably why a lot of people have a problem with what you're doing, is because you're making people feel uncomfortable about certain things and having to face certain things that that they might not want to deal with. So, have you dealt with any? Because obviously you've dealt with YouTube before it turns into a fucking censorship hub. Because right now it's bad. A lot of people are being demonetized.
I mean, our subscribers at one point, they shut it down. We weren't getting anybody. And a lot of this happened right around the time we put a video out about this guy who was a chomo hunter. And this guy used to travel across the border to Mexico and bring people back who had molested kids or who were wanted. And he was like, he had racked up like over 100 something, child molesters he brought to justice. And we put that video out. I thought, man, this is a great thing, man. This ties in with all the human trafficking of kids and stuff. And dude, our channel fucking went dead. I'm like,
so they shadow banned you guys.
Yeah, man. I'm like, what happened? And to me, who wouldn't want it? You'd want to have the dude who's touching on kids and doing this stuff locked up, man. You get this guy off the street. And man, yeah, man, it killed our channel, bro. And I'm like, wow. And it just now popped back up to where it started getting a little bit of traction because of, the Black Lives Matter thing. So I'm black and my partner's Mexican, so they had to give us a little bump. But I mean, for over a year, man, we were like basically stagnant, like frozen.
Wow.
That's interesting because, for a while, like I always get on YouTube and go through my recommended videos, and your stuff used to always pop up. And there was a big fat window of time. I want to say it was like last year or something, where I didn't see anything from you. As a matter of fact, I was even wondering if you guys were even still doing it anymore.
People ask me, they're like, dude, what happened when you still posting videos? I'm like, dude, we put up 4 videos a week. Oh man, I haven't seen nothing. I've been unsubscribed. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, dude, they went through. They put a cold twist into our whole analytic program. And like, my partner, he's very computer literate and media savvy, and we talked directly with him, and they're, oh no, we didn't do that. Oh no, this, and oh blah blah blah, and we were getting the whole spin around, bro. And I'm like, this shit is crazy, man. I couldn't believe it, man. And we're really putting out a great message. We're helping kids, we're helping people, we're educating, we're not promoting, but it's like everything I thought was the righteous thing to do is not what behind closed doors is being promoted.
Yeah. No. There's a lot of stuff going on like that, especially politically, just with any kind of politics. YouTube is obviously, all that cancel culture and woke culture. They are totally into that. So, it's just scary because that's how we're getting our information now, and a lot of the stuff's being censored on Twitter. Hell, when you got the president, I mean, wherever you want to think about Trump, I mean, I don't want to go too into detail about whatever you think about him. There's no fucking way that they should be censoring the president of the United States tweets, and yet they are. That's fucking scary
how powerful
shit.
Is that?
Yeah.
That's pretty, dude.
Yeah.
We're talking about usurpation of just like the government, bro. This is like. You're talking about some powerful shit, man. I mean, when they can shut down, and I'm not going to mention his name on here, but we say if you mention this guy's name, they can basically ban you. I mean,
yep.
There's a person who just said something on a news network, and he mentioned a name, and they said don't say his name on this program, and he's like, what? And like, dude, when I seen that, I'm like, what?
There's a lot of shady shit, which is all like it's all corporate. It seems for me. It's
corporate agenda, man. This is what they're pushing, and our government's right behind them. They're all trying to carry out this, whether it's one world government. Speaking of that, man, I want to ask you about the COVID lockdowns. Now, obviously, you're somebody who's lost their freedom before. So how did you deal with those? Did you deal with them better than a lot of us did? Because obviously most of us, like myself.
Most of us are, not did. They're going to get worse, dude.
Oh yeah, right. If they, how do you? I don't know, man. How do you view those things?
Well, I did a video about is this a prison psyop on my BigHerc916, and these have already been tested. See, they play lockdown games with us in prison, and they create scenarios. They'll bring a guy in and they'll create a violent situation, lock everybody down, blame it on the riots. But when you come out, they took something. They took the weights. They took the soda machine. They took this. They took that. Or they changed the food up. And they play with you mentally to see what they can and can't do, what you're going to tolerate. And they do it. It's the same shit. So prison is the testing grounds for all the psychological fuck games they play out here on the street. And people out here don't even get it. Okay, wow. You just remember when this first happened, you had to have a KN95 fucking mask. Now you can put a fucking bandana around your face, a t-shirt with a hole in it. Come on, bro. Really? Is that going to save your fucking life?
Or you can go to the dentist. You go to the dentist, you have your fucking mask on, and then when you're working with them, you take the mask off.
Yeah, I mean, come on, bro. Yeah. If you sitting at a table and there's 6 of us, one more person, COVID forms Voltron, and it can get all of us.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
that was a great analogy.
Exactly.
Fucking Come Voltron, on, bro. COVID knows when you're in the bathroom, so all the public bathrooms have to be locked. It hides under the toilet. COVID knows when you're going to take a poop.
Or my favorite is COVID won't infect you if you're protesting or celebrating Biden's inauguration, which hasn't even been finalized.
Yeah, yet. There's all that bullshit too. Yeah,
but COVID's going to get you if you go to a biker convention. You go to a biker convention, you're fucked. It's because a massive mass spreader. But if you go celebrate, yay, Biden won, and you're dancing around the streets, oh, it's so beautiful. I'm like,
COVID knows if you're homeless.
Yes.
If you're homeless, it can't kill you.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Or no, another place where it waits for you. Like if you go to a restaurant and you're sitting down, you can have your mask off and you can drink your drink and eat your food. But the minute you get up to take a piss, you need to put the mask on because
now how crazy is it?
Yeah.
All these restaurants now, because of all the weather, now they done made tents and shit outside. What's the difference between sitting outside in the tent or inside in the fucking walls? What's the difference? Goddamn, you got everybody in the parking lot outside dirtier. COVID, I guess cement it can't stick on cement, but it can stick to the walls inside the actual clean restaurant.
Exactly.
Come on,
yeah,
man.
just a ton of different shit like that. Like, and now, like I don't mind. Like, I understand if it's a virus, I don't mind wearing a mask into a supermarket, or being considerate in that way. Outside I'm not wearing shit because it doesn't spread outside. It's actually very, very, and it doesn't stick on surfaces either. That's another bullshit thing that they told you. It's actually not. But when they start doing shit like trying to fucking take away your Christmas, like you can't have family over for your holiday.
Oh my God.
And especially someone like you who understands what it's like to not be able to be around family and friends during a holiday because you can't, because you're behind bars, and then having these people gleefully going along. Like, I might not be celebrating Thanksgiving with some people because they might not want to actually meet because of all this fucking fear mongering, and just drives me crazy because it's like, man, you're so willing just to, I can't hang out with my family. Like there are things in California where they're saying you can't sing, you can only have two families. Like here in Oregon, you can only have two families together at once in Thanksgiving, or people from two families.
Now think about this. If it was this easy to get people to basically put on what they call it, your repression mask.
Yeah.
Because if this thing was really as deadly as they claim, bro, it would look like that show 24 and people were passing out, blood coming out their nose, rolling, dude, it's not. I know people in the medical field, and even my friend, his dad, he said, look, man, I'm older, I understand. But for the rest of you young people, why would you guys have to suffer? Why would businesses have to shut down? But yet, Lowe's, Walmart, Home Depot,
all of those are open. The small businesses
all
are
the
closed.
Big boys, Amazon, he became a trillionaire. Dude, we're getting crushed.
Yep, and they're doing it on purpose. All the small businesses are gone. So the only place you can go to are the big box places. Corporate as well, all corporate. And they also want people to not work so they can get assistance from the government, so that everyone is dependent on all that.
Everybody's the same.
Exactly.
There's the super rich, and all you other people stand in line for your bread and water and get your little suck on your little titty.
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi can open her fucking walk-in ice cream fucking freezer.
Oh my God.
And then go. Yeah. No, she literally.
Gavin Newsom, he was just at a party in Sonoma at a winery enjoying her.
Yep. And then he's trying to tell people and then the same thing with that bitch from Michigan, Whitner, whatever.
Or what's her name? From Chicago, Mayor Lightfoot.
Yeah,
he's canceling Thanksgiving. Bitch.
Yeah, canceling like they have the right. They don't have the right to do that. People don't realize that they don't have the right. Just like the media doesn't call the election. No one's won yet. It's not going to be done until the 15th of December. So this whole bullshit about the media called.
It's going to the Supreme Court. We're living right now. I'm telling you, I used to read stuff and people would be like, oh, man, that's some bullshit. I used to read a lot of shit in prison. I lost a lot of sleep. I read shit, man, and because dudes used to I used to have people let me borrow books, but like, man, give it back to me in 2 days or 3 days. So I would literally have to read these crazy books, and I'd be laying there like, what the fuck have I got myself into? Fuck.
Yeah.
I'd pray like, man, please let me get out before one of these crazy-ass fucking plans is implemented. And fuck, here I am. They took the weights. They have no fitness. They got people. Fast food is open, but you can't go and get healthy food. Remember, for a while there was no meat. You can only buy 2 fucking things of meat. Dude, what the fuck? You mean there's no more meat?
And now
you're fucking kidding me.
And just wait for the virus to be mandatory.
You mean the vaccine?
The vaccine, it's going to be mandatory to get your shit, and it's going to be, crazy shit's going on. The whole election is.
Nobody's questioning it though. You guys are talking about it, but out here. If you say this, man, people look at you, man, and it's like, dude, you mean to tell me you're just going to go with it? You think this is going to stop there?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I was having an argument with somebody, I think it was like Friday night or Saturday night or something, and they were going, what do you mean communism? No, they're not trying to turn this into a commune. And I'm like, really? Are you that fucking stupid?
Okay,
Yeah,
Kamala Harris
you're good.
said it herself, equality versus equity. She says, we're not looking for equality, we're looking for equity. She fucking made a video about it, about equity. Which is basically everyone has the same outcome. Everyone is exactly the same at the end. That's exact definition
Except
of it.
for them. Except for the people who run the world. They get everything, and we're down here like fucking Hunger Games.
Of course, that's how communism works. There's never that's the whole point of it, is that there's a select few who get everything, everyone else gets nothing, and then they crush you. I don't know. There's a lot of people that are waking up now on this whole election thing, because the normal media is toast, man. Legacy media, ABC, CNN.
It's almost to a point, man, where real media has went underground. You can't watch Fox. You can't watch TV. They flipped on Trump. Dude, everything now, you have to find it. And what they do, if you post it on anything big like Facebook, they put fact check and blur it out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, look at YouTube. Under every video, it says AP calls election provided, which doesn't mean anything. AP, and the media actually thinks that it means something. They actually will tell you, yes, if the media calls it, then that means he's the winner. He has not won yet. But they say AP calls it. Then underneath that, they say, find out more about how secure our nation is in terms of voter fraud. It's propaganda. They want you to click on that and go, oh, yeah, this is how, nothing to see here. Move along. No 600,000 votes.
The first thing that's got to happen, if hopefully it goes where it's supposed to, they got to go and they got to break up these media. Our media's done, bro.
Oh, it's done.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no one trusts them.
Media mafia.
No one trusts them. They're losing. Dude, AT&T is trying to sell CNN. Fox, because they fucked up and they fucked up in terms of, they called Arizona like right after it opened or whatever. They have less viewers than CNN, and it happened in a week. They literally have lost like 80% of their viewers. Because they're in the same boat basically now. So that's why people get.
Well, you see what happened to A&E. They pull their number one show, and everybody's like, "Fuck you," and then we're all gone. You know what I mean?
And there's nothing. Nobody's saying anything about any of the voter fraud or any of this shit that's really going on. I mean, I got to look at these obscure like links from people. I get fans from all over the world that send me articles, and it's like none of it's getting mainstream press. None of it.
Oh no. No. It's even being the opposite of that. Like a real journalist, or news organization, let's say CNN, would say Trump talking about alleged voter fraud, which is fine because it's alleged. What CNN put is Trump discusses unfounded voter fraud, which is not that's a statement of fact based upon shit that alleged is great because it is alleged. We don't know what's going on, although I'm almost guaranteed.
We don't know shit.
I know a lot. I mean, I've been following this shit I watched the whole thing that night, and they stopped counting in all 6 of the states that actually were close.
I'll tell you right now, there's no way. I was in Arizona like a couple months ago when they had a 5-mile caravan of Trump, and not one person showed up for Biden. There's no way that shit came out blue.
Yeah. How does somebody lose, a Republican lose, when they have the largest minority vote since 1960?
Yeah. Well, and it's crazy. I mean, like if you guys see the Biden rallies, I mean, there's like 20 people there. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. What we're dealing with is probably the same thing equivalent to what happened in Venezuela.
Yes. What
happened in Ecuador. We think we had a great, everybody's, oh my God, our voting system. Dude, we're dealing with this. We're really being exposed to a lot of shit right now, and a lot of people aren't ready for it.
Yeah. No. I think the next week, I think people are I'm from the way that the administration sounds and the lawyers they have there who are not going to risk their reputations on something completely bullshit. There's going to be some major shit coming out, and the news media isn't going to be able to hide it. They're not going to be able to spin it because it's going to be so fucking. It's already so blatant. The stuff going on with Michigan, and I mean I can go into all of it, but I truly hope, because if it doesn't do that way, then we're fucked. We're done. Because there's nothing we can do.
We're at a very big turning point, and I think that because of, like you said, on one end, they're showing. See, they show us, and a lot of the protests and stuff favoring people who don't like Trump, but they haven't showed the silent minority, the majority. See, a lot of times media is going to show us things to create emotion and reaction. It's no different than when they showed, this guy getting shot by the police. But then you read about this guy was a rapist. This guy he was fighting with things. They don't show you everything.
Oh.
So everything is not what it appears. And so when they think that they can come over here and they're going to pull this bullshit, dude, they got a rude awakening. I got people, man, Texas, different people. They're like, dude, this shit is not going down over here. They're not going for it.
No, because they've got all the guns.
Well, that's it.
And they're
wait till the Patriots start standing
they're
up.
seeing all of it, and it's going to be hard to. Sometimes, I mean, even the media is going to have a difficult time covering this up because people aren't even watching them anymore.
Right. Well, this is so bad because
everybody who's been about the truth throughout this. I mean, we've stood strong on our values, and basically, at the end of the day, it's going to come to light, man. I mean, a lot of this stuff, if you look at now, just for example, what happened to the Hunter Biden story? How that disappeared?
Because they censored it on Twitter. They censored the fourth largest.
That's my point, but that would have been Trump Jr. It would have been TMZ.
Oh God! Well, if this would have been this close of an election with Biden, they would be demanding a recount. Of course they would. Yep. It's so fucking obvious and so blatant. I mean, because think about this. There's been so many glitches and stuff talked about, irregularities. Have you heard one of them where the votes went for Trump? One. Have you heard one of these? Oh, 6,000 votes here, glitch. Oh, well, they all went to Biden. Whoopsie. Well, that was none of it. There's no like.
Now there's now stuff about the software too.
Dominion. Yeah, there's so much stuff, dude. There's so much shit, and
a lot of stuff was gonna come out, man, where they were showing how like. You said you're gonna find out people who were invested in the fucking the program system. It's gonna be a lot of shit, bro.
Yeah,
a lot of shit, man. Because we look, just any sensible person. My friend was talking to his mom, and this is how crazy it is. And he showed her a video of Biden talking, and he called his granddaughter his son and said something else.
Yeah,
and he said, "Mom, look at this." And she said, "You know what? He was tired. He had a long day."
Wow.
No. You don't mistake your granddaughter as your dead son, Bo, who's been dead since 1973.
Man. That's just bad because now you want to live a lie. Even when the truth is shown to you, you still want to live.
I'm telling you, man, people can't see it. And what's even scarier is the fact that the Dems got behind somebody like that. What does that tell you their plan is? They know that he's going to be declared incompetent.
Oh, they want Kamala in because Kamala will be their figure.
And they want Nancy as VP.
Yeah.
Yep. Did you guys play the game with Siri where you ask how old the president is?
No.
If you do that, if you have Siri on your phone, just say, how old's the president? And it'll say, Kamala Harris was born 56 years ago. Like, oh shit.
Yeah, it's all fucked up, and they don't give a like I said, they don't give a shit about it. And most people are they hate Trump. They don't give a shit. They don't know anything about Biden. I ask people I hate Trump. So what is Biden going to do for you? Nothing. They're gonna get a rude awakening when the 6-week lockdown come in.
When I asked him, I said, who wrote the 1984 crime control bill? Oh, what is that? I said, man, it locked up more Black and Hispanic people than anybody in history. I said, do you know who pushed since 1979? Who's been pushing for racial segregation and who was a Dixiecrat? Who's that? I said, dude, do your homework. Do you know that Kamala Harris, she brags about smoking weed, but she's locked over 1,500 guys, Black men, for supposedly marijuana crimes, and then hid evidence and suppressed different things that could have. Oh no, she wouldn't. Dude, do your homework.
Yeah, but they don't.
And even when you tell them the truth, they still.
Well, they say, well, Trump. At least he's not a fucking white supremacist. I'm like, Trump's not a white supremacist. He's been debunked. He's never actually condoned white.
Trump was president. Every Black hip hop artist was hanging out with him.
Yeah.
Everybody loved him. Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, 50 Cent. He opened up the first country club to Blacks and Jews down in Florida.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
He's done a lot.
Yep. And it was always hip hop was always I got more money than Donald Trump. I'm rolling with Donald Trump. I mean, there's probably a million raps.
Like I said, that's why it's the highest minority turnout for a Republican candidate in 60 years, and that's why because the Black unemployment rate or minority unemployment rate was the lowest it's been ever. For at least for as long as for a very long time, but they don't want to hear that because those aren't the right Black people. They aren't the real Black people because they don't believe in. They don't like No, and that's one of the worst things. Like, I've got people on my feed like, oh, as a black person, I'm so upset about George Floyd. I'm like, no, you are so upset about George Floyd. Other black people aren't, because they aren't you. You don't speak for anybody but yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's a big thing that we get to, and that's why I can relate to that. Is because, as a blind person, or as a you don't. No one speaks for me. You don't speak for me. You want that power. You want to be able to say you speak for the people, so it gives your fucking voice more power. But you don't speak for anybody else.
George Floyd, he didn't represent me. I'm not getting no tattoos or no memorabilia with his picture on it.
Oh God, he had a gold fucking casket. All right.
Did you see that? Who's had a gold casket like that?
Yeah, David Dorn was the cop who got shot outside, and no one knows who these people are. Like, if you ask Black Lives Matter, who's David Dorn? He's a black man who was shot during the riots.
What about the black old shop owner who was 77 years old trying to protect his property, and he got killed? Nobody said nothing about him. He got killed by another black guy.
Yeah, and then there was Shavondra Walker, who was a little 5-year-old girl who got shot at near that.
Yep.
Nope, I don't care about that. 7,500 people who died last year from black-on-black shootings. Wow, that's all white people's fault, so it's still part of Black Lives Matter.
Chicago Father's Day weekend had 48 shootings.
Yeah, fucking nuts.
Right,
man.
I do. It's crazy, but yet it's all focuses on Breonna Taylor and
that's the plan, though. That's why I said, man, it's you gotta. I mean, I have a couple of conscious people that can really see the plan, but most of these guys are so caught up with emotion and illusion, they don't see the big big picture, man.
No one wants to think. Everyone's all about how they feel. That's why they riot. That's why they riot in cities where a black man was shot by a white cop who's running at them with a fucking knife. Like, how do you even go, that's injustice? The guy was running at them with a fucking knife. What are you supposed to do?
What would you do if someone's coming at you with a knife, right?
Like, how the fuck are you supposed to respond to that as a person?
You talking about the guy that got shot in front of his kids?
Well, yeah. Well, there was a couple of them. There was one guy the guy. There was a video where he's running around the car.
Okay, now do you know the whole story about that guy?
I'm not sure, but my point is that
that guy, he had first wrestled with the police before and got up after they told him to get on the ground. But he was over there because he was trying to, I believe, take the car keys to do something to a girl. He had charges pending for raping a 14-year-old girl. And the lady's auntie said they should have shot him 50 times.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And the people that are actually in this whole defund the police craziness and all that stuff like that, the people that are actually in these places are like, no, don't do that. And it's like funny. It must be really frustrating for you because you had to pull yourself through and bring yourself back up. And then you've got these people that are glorifying these criminals because none of these people that are getting shot they're not. There's never a fucking Reverend Johnson who
I'll tell you right now, that guy, he would rather get shot than to go to prison with those charges.
Yeah.
He wanted that. He did not want to go to jail with rape charges of a 14, 15-year-old girl.
Yeah.
Pending.
Oh, no. Well, that goes back to what you were saying earlier. Is sometimes things are self-inflicted.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Some of these people who are, like you said, running with a knife or doing this, you don't know how they were living. This guy might have been like, you know what? My girlfriend left me. I have no job. I'm a 2-time felon. Fuck it. Please come. I'm just going to run. Dude, it's an easy out. Mm-hmm. It's psychologically because for anybody else, you just lay your ass on the ground, bro. You're not going to, if they kick you, okay, fuck it. But you're not going to sit there and have a knife or argue or do something stupid like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Damn.
Man. Well, damn, Big Herc, this has been an amazing building session. As the East Coast guys say, they're building, like building with knowledge. So, BigHerc916, let's tell us your websites, your YouTube channels, all that stuff.
Information.
YouTube for Fresh Out is Fresh Out, and then the Instagram and Twitter is Fresh Out Series, and then for motivational and inspiration, I have BigHerc916 YouTube and BigHerc916 Instagram and Twitter.
Awesome.
Nice.
And also www.BigHerc916.com and also www.freshoutseries.com for our websites.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you very much, man. It's good, man. That like I said, a lot of people are aware, and I think that's part of the thing that's kind of frustrating about all this is that everyone thinks that well, these people, they have to think, they all think the same way. They all are into this, Black Lives Matter, and they're all into this fucking, this thug, whatever you want to call it, thug atmosphere, or WAP. That's another fucking thing we can go into, that fucking ridiculous fucking shit. Like I said,
yeah, man, they've been talking about it. I see them on videos. What is that, some new shit they're doing?
well, WAP
Is that the
WAP is the
wet ass pussy?
wet ass. That's fucking, what's her name? Cardi B. Who
Cardi B. Yeah, I was confused. Nikki B. Or Nikki.
Okay.
Minaj.
Yeah. So, but my point is that it's all glorifying shit. That's not that's not going to get anybody anywhere. While
You're right.
you focus on improving yourself, and no matter what situation you're in. If you're in a situation where you're in your own fucking prison in your own life because you're with addiction or anything like that else, or anything like that, or anything that you're dealing with, you show that you can get out of that, and if you focus and put your energy in the right place, you can become what you want to be. So that's awesome, man.
Exactly, man. That's great. So keep pushing channels like BigHerc916.
Yep.
And the Fresh Out series. This is the stuff that people need to see.
Exactly, man.
So again,
Hey,
BigHerc916.
I appreciate the opportunity to be able to share my my voice with you guys. Man.
Oh yeah, we'll spread the word. Stay on with us for just a second, but we're gonna get out of here now. This has been the Nothing Sacred interview with Big Herc. Once again, Fresh Out series and BigHerc916. You look those up, you'll find them. I guess we're gonna end this here. So I'm Cruise Control,
I'm Maxwell Silverhammer,
and that's the story there, bitches. See you later. Nothing Sacred.
We are nothing sacred. We are nothing sacred. We are nothing sacred. With Maxwell Silverhammer. We are nothing sacred. With cruise control.